71. On item 22, the Chief Executive Officer requests that this item be continued to April 5th, 2022, as indicated on the posted agenda. On item 31, County Council requests that this item be continued to April 5th, 2022, as indicated on the posted agenda. On item 37, Supervisor Mitchell requests that this item be continued 1 week to February 15, 2022. On item 43, Supervisor Mitchell requests that this item be continued to March 15, 2022. On item 58, Supervisor Kuehl requests that this item be held. I'm going to do a correction. Supervisor Juan is holding items 4 and 5 and not 6.
Thank you. I was going to offer that correction. Thank you.
46, Special District Agenda. This is the agenda for the Los Angeles County Development Authority. On item 7D is an addition as indicated on the supplemental agenda. The requests for continuances through 7D are before you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Moved by Supervisor Kuehl, seconded by Supervisor Hahn to approve these items. Such will be the order.
That completes the reading of the agenda, Madam Chair.
Item 18. Good morning, Chair Villanueva. You will have 3 minutes. Please begin, sir.
Good morning, Supervisor Mitchell. Item number 18 is going to be a death blow to public safety in Los Angeles County. Right now, we're facing 897 sworn vacancies, 893 professional staff vacancies as of April 1st, assuming no further people sign up for retirement. We're already at impairments of over 1,500 personnel due to long-term IODs and so forth. And right now we've lifted the cap on overtime so each employee can work not just 96. Now we've raised it up to 120 hours of overtime a month, which is an astronomically high level. We've had to lift the cap on working consecutive days off and regular days off, so now an employee can work 30 days. And I say can is that we're forcing employees to work these days, and that is with our current vacancies. And the imposing of item number 18 would mean a loss of 4,000 sworn staff members on the department alone. And that would be just a death blow to public safety in LA County. We have fully vaccinated, we have 9,881. In the last 30 days, 342 tested positive for 3.46% positivity rate. We have 5,766 not vaccinated, and we had 221 test positives for a 3.83% vaccination rate, or positivity rate. So your motion is going to seek to basically cause us to actually lose 4,000 employees for a grand total of 0.4% improvement in positivity rate is not exactly a benefit to public safety. We're coming off 2 years of a historically high 94% increase in homicide rate, 64% increase in grand theft auto, and this is just not, it's not sustainable. The current situation is not sustainable. The hiring freeze is not sustainable, and this is really, it almost amounts to a suicide pact, which if you care to join it, I think you should leave public safety out of it and leave that to the other county departments. But I have to speak on behalf of the community and on behalf of the men and women of the Sheriff's Department, and I'll let you know this is ill-advised, illogical, and probably in the long run illegal, and by the time you figure out the legality of it, we're going to be past the pandemic, which will make the result irrelevant. So this is going to be your choice, and I just urge you to de-escalate and dial back the rhetoric, and let's find some common ground, testing or vaccination, and we're doing that right now. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you calling in. And again, for members of the public, item 18 will be held, and we'll have a presentation on it later in today's meeting. Thank you very much. We will now take public comment for all agenda items. The executive officer, please read the call-in information that was also provided on the agenda and explain the speaking rules to those members of the public who are calling in to address the board.
As indicated on the agenda, members of the public wishing to offer public comment should call 877-336-4437 and use participant code number 1366786. To repeat, please call 877-336-4437 and use participant code number 1366786. Do not call that number if you only want to listen to the meeting. To listen only, please call 877-873-8017 and follow the instructions. To members of the public calling in, when it's your turn to speak, please state your name and which agenda items you wish to speak on. We will allocate 90 minutes for public comment on all the items posted on today's agenda. You will have 1 minute to speak on one agenda item or 2 minutes to speak on 2 or more agenda items. In addition, those who would like to address the board with general public comment will be provided 1 additional minute for a maximum total up to 3 minutes. We will continue to accept all written comments that come in during the meeting, which will become part of the record. When speaking on the agenda items, you must be on topic. Our goal is to get through as many speakers as we can. If you're not speaking on topic, or if we cannot tell if you're speaking on an agenda item, you will get 1 warning from County Council or the Chair. If you do not immediately or clearly get on topic, or you stray off topic again, you will forfeit the rest of your time, and the Chair will move to the next speaker. Please note, if you're also listening to the board meeting on a computer or speakerphone, you will need to turn down the volume on those devices as soon as the moderator calls on you. If you do not turn down the volume, there will be an echo. Moderator, may we have the first speaker, please?
As a reminder, to address the board, if you have not already done so, please press 1 then 0 at this time. Do not press 1 and 0 a second time or you will be removed from the queue.
We will now hear the Spanish interpretation of this reminder.
Como recordatorio, para dirigirse a la Junta, si aún no lo ha hecho, presione 1 luego 0 en este momento. No presione 1 y 0 por segunda vez o será eliminado de la fila. Gracias.
Thank you. May we have the first speaker, please?
Our first participant is Andres Juan. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Andres Juan, ACLU, speaking to items 1864 in general public comments. On a personal note, I was not expecting to hear Supervisor Solis singing Las Mañanitas this morning. It made my day. Happy birthday, Supervisor Kuehl. You inspire so many of us to stand strong for civil liberties. Esteemed Supervisors, we are facing crisis yet again under Sheriff Villanueva, whom we at the ACU in Southern California have deemed as single greatest threat to our civil liberties here in LA County. From his repeated violations of law and complete obstruction of oversight, and a special police unit intended to intimidate and harass oversight officials, to the scores of deputy gang violence that he has enabled, and the dramatic increase in deputy shootings and record-level deaths in the jails under his watch, we have the Trump of Los Angeles. In 2021, we witnessed death rates in the jails of at least 1 person dying every week. More than 90 people died in the jails in 2020 and 2021. On deputy gangs, Villanueva has gone from denying the existence of deputy gangs to claiming that they are harmless fraternities and then adopting a policy that is not only meaningless but does not comply with new state law, all the while defying lawful subpoenas and violating laws on transparency and oversight. And now related to item 18, his refusal to follow the county's vaccine mandate is yet another one of his little insurrections, behaving as if it's above the law. But we firmly believe and assume, and you do so too, that no sheriff is above the law. Not the current sheriff, or whoever comes next. And we must act now. What we really need is significant structural change. Supervisors, the buck stops at you. Pursuant to state law, this board has an independent duty to supervise the sheriff. And we cannot wait for the Attorney General to seek a consent decree, which will still be limited. You can do more. And in fact, yesterday, ACLU SoCal was a proud member of a coalition of more than 70 community organizations and labor unions. And we're urging these boards to propose to the voters a charter amendment that will strengthen sheriff accountability and create a common sense structure of checks and balances. the last time the board brought a charter amendment directly relating to the sheriff or the sheriff's department was 20 years ago. A generation later, it is past time for the board to bring to voters a charter amendment proposal that would maximize the power of civilian oversight over the paramilitary office of the sheriff. And this proposal is not only not undemocratic, it actually strengthens democratic accountability. For one, the U.S. Congress has a duty and authority to impeach and remove an elected president when necessary. Even more so should the civilian board have the power to impeach and remove an elected sheriff, a paramilitary official akin to an elected general. And this is not just for the current sheriff, but for sheriffs to come. A don't-elect-me system of sheriff accountability every 4 years has proven wholly inadequate, and a recall election is virtually impossible in counties as large as LA County. So we're urging you to immediately propose to the voters a charter amendment. We've submitted a letter to detail what we propose. We have the Trump of Los Angeles. We have a crisis on the way. We all together need to check Trump off the list.
Excuse me, time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Daniel Gonzales. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi there, my name is Daniel Gonzales, and I will be speaking on agenda item 69A. I'm a policy advocate and community organizer at the Los Angeles LGBT Center. And I want to say I'm very appreciative of the Board of Supervisors' report for the removal of the ban that prevents many gay and bisexual men from donating blood. At this time, there's currently a severe blood shortage across the nation, which is worse than the nation has ever seen before, and we have a willing population looking to donate. I support the Board of Supervisors' removal of this discriminatory ban. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant will be Candice Zina. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, please begin.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please begin.
I'm commenting on number 2, specifically for my daughter. She is at LAUSD, and she has been wearing a mask for this entire year, 7 hours a day. I'm giving you a best-case scenario for a kid who's mentally and physically strong and healthy, yet she comes home with a tic. Every minute, she's blowing air out of her nose. She has rashes all over her face where the mask is. She comes home out of school, walks a block and a half to meet me, and she still has her mask on. She's not taking that opportunity to take it off to breathe. This is her one chance after 7 hours. She's alone. She's allowed to take it off. But she's programmed to keep the mask on. Her cognitive ability to realize that she is alone and she's not a threat to anyone is not processed through her. She can't take the mask off to breathe because she thinks she has to keep it on. She's not afraid she's going to get COVID. She's healthy. She's done everything she's supposed to do. This is not a childhood disease. We cannot continue to keep our children masked. Outside, when she's doing sports at school, she can't breathe. She tells me she gets headaches. She can't find the time to take a breath at lunch because she's yelled at if she takes her mask off and then doesn't put it right back on after she's done drinking or eating. She is a healthy child, and this is the best-case scenario for kids like her. She's doing fine. She's getting A's in school. She has friends and everything. Yet still,
Thank you. Yes, one moment, please.
We need to end it, please. I'm begging you. Thank you.
Our next participant will come from the line of N.J. King. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning and happy birthday, Supervisor Kuehl. This is MJ King, and I'm a resident of District 1, speaking on agenda items 1164 and general public comment, please. I strongly support item 11. The goal of GI is to supplement, not replace, access to existing welfare programs. For item 64, I strongly oppose it. In July of 2020, the board voted unanimously to increase the transparency and accountability of the LASC, including removing LASC patrol from county parks in October of 2020. That same month, the Sheriff's Civilian Oversight Commission voted unanimously to demand Sheriff Villanueva's resignation. And in May of 2021, the board voted unanimously to protect surviving families from retaliation and harassment by the Sheriff's Department. The board is well aware that we need to divert funding out of the Sheriff's Department rather than emboldening this toxic department with more funding to harm our communities. What the Sheriff's Department is asking for is 2 military-grade tanks that together cost over $1 million. No municipal department needs an armored vehicle. This is excessive and would be a huge waste of county resources. The board must not approve these requests. We must acknowledge the county's already existing disparities and budget priorities. I urge the board officers to think about what could $1 million change the life of a community-based organization. Throwing another $1 million at the Sheriff's Department, who already receives over $3 billion a year, to purchase unnecessary military vehicles is a misuse of county funds. The Sheriff's Department must account for their mismanagement of funds before receiving any more funding for equipment. For general public comment, 2 things. First, I support an LA County charter amendment to keep the sheriff accountable. Specifically, the board should propose to the voters a charter amendment that will, 1, establish an impeachment process to allow removal of the sheriff for serious misconduct, 2, reinforce the board's policy-making authority over the Sheriff's Department, and 3, establish permanent and independent civilian oversight. Second, I urge you to move forward with Measure J funding. All this talk about the sheriff and their over $3 million budget, and we can't get the budget is so huge, it trips me up in my words. We can't get $300 million working for the resources that this very board has acknowledged our community so desperately needs. The community was heavily engaged in over dozens of planning meetings last year, and you only passed $187 million for the first year. I really urge you to move forward to fully fund the 10% that the voters that we voted for, and urge the CEO to thoughtfully engage our community to fully fund these measures. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker will come from the line of Roy Humphreys. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. Begin.
I'll be on items 9, 11, 31, 52 in general public comment. And number 9, the repurposing of USC General Hospital for housing and mixed use. But my purpose, my proposal for the repurposing of the men's jails has fallen on deaf ears, a profound waste. 11, suspension of the general requirements for guaranteed income. Transients will love that one. Annual litigation cost. The Me Too group would terminally bankrupt the county and the state of California if all jail and prison sexual assaults were compensated. 52, thank Supervisors Hahn and Solis for excluding Roland Heights from traffic safety and perpetuating the ghettoification of my community. You're the best. And general comment of your evaluation of the department head should include the sacking of regional planning for refusal to post Zoom on-demand links for the Community Standards District meeting, which, as a matter of fact, of a duty and inclusion, and bringing transportation pain to Roland Heights a la ghetto style. The County Roads Department in Baldwin Park is taking 1 year to do a 6-month project on Otterbein. And Supervisor Solis' Ring doorbell public safety response is unique in a $72 billion budget excess environment. But what the heck, we have a $1 million dog park. What's to ask for? And again, you failed to take action with the state, so forth, to get the separation of the jails from the County Sheriff's Department, and you failed to come forth with a campaign to establish transient campsites to get the ghettoification out of Roland Heights and get these transients off of our commercial properties. And you can see Deputy Denver's little video on my YouTube channel to give you a little insight on that. Okay, and we all realize that the Sheriff's Department is in need of a remake, but hey, we put up with this and failed to deal with it for decades. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker will come from the line of Tim Hepburn. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you will address on general public comment. You may begin.
I will be addressing on general public comment regarding the DJJ Secure Youth final home. And also I want to thank, good morning to Chair Mitchell and to Supervisor
Supervisors, and happy birthday, Sheila Kuehl, Supervisor. And I would respectfully ask that we remove Appleball Page from consideration for the SYTF Secure Youth Facility and instead use the Barry J. Nidorf and also Kilpatrick, as they are already housed there. When our community was faced with the windstorms and damages, Appleball Page were evacuated and put into Barry J. Nidorf. So obviously we have the facilities there. Obviously it needs money to repurpose it and make it a better facility and make it like the Kilpatrick LA model. I thank you for your consideration.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant comes from the line of Roxana Hoag. He states the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning and happy birthday to the birthday girl. Yo puedo cantar Los Mañanitas, but it's not going to be good, so I won't. I'm an immigrant, a mother of 4, and I'm speaking on set item 2, opposing item 18, and a general public comment. I want to thank Supervisor Barger for raising a very important question that has occurred to parents of children all across LA County in public and private school for the past year and a half, during which their young lives have been disrupted, destroyed. They're living through despair. As the previous caller stated, even kids that should be quote-unquote resilient or thriving are not getting the best out of the schooling experience. My kids are masked for 47 hours a week. That's including dancing, on point, outdoors. It not only makes no sense in a time when natural immunity, vaccines are available, and Omicron, as everyone is making the pivot now, has shown to be mild, and we all know that COVID is age stratified and that children have never been at risk. These all need to end. It is highly discriminatory. Black and brown children are suffering the most. The problems and challenges we're all facing are due to the pandemic response, not actual medical issues. Barbara Ferrer, PhD, has been a disaster at the head of LA Public Health, and it is far beyond time to listen to her. We need to be at least in line with the California state guidelines. In terms of item 18, it is unconscionable, un-American, and I would dare say against everything we hold dear, to fire people and not respect their personal bodily autonomy. Many of our first responders and the people who are going to be fired actually are immune to COVID because they were there on the front lines. They got sick. I'm not anti-mask or anti-vaccine. I am pro-children. I'm pro-freedom. I'm pro-faces. I'm pro-smiles. I'm pro-oxygen. The last thing I just want to say, adding a word to the Pledge of Allegiance is beneath the dignity of this office. I took an oath to the Constitution of the United States of America, and I pledged allegiance to this country when I became a citizen legally. And I have to say that it is disgusting to say liberty and justice for all. Oh, one caveat. It would be great if our children who do not have a union representing them could get liberty and justice today by removing the public health order that is hurting so many lives. Thank you, happy birthday, and may you all do what's right for the people of Los Angeles.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Do we have the next speaker, please?
As a reminder, to address the board, if you've not already done so, please press 1 then 0 at this time. Now press 1 and 0 a second time, or you'll be removed from the queue.
We will now hear the Spanish interpretation of this reminder.
Como recordatorio, para dirigirse a la Junta, si aún no lo ha hecho, presione 1 luego 0 en este momento. No presione 1 luego 0 por segunda vez o será eliminado de la fila. Gracias.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant will come from the line of Brian Smith. He states the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, good morning. I was going to speak on set item 2 and 18 and just piggyback on, and general public will. So to piggyback on what the last speaker just spoke on, these orders that have been implemented across the Los Angeles County employees and suspended, risking getting suspended and messing up their school record so that they won't have to be compelled to continue this madness. So that needs to stop, number one. Number two, with the ever-changing environment of COVID, we've obviously seen, again, piggyback on the last comment, that the Omicron variant is affecting everybody, the vaccinated and the unvaccinated. We have people that are double, triple vax, and some might maybe even getting quadruple vax, and they're still catching it, and they're still getting sick. That makes your vaccine policy completely obsolete. The vaccine policy originally stated that it was set up the way that it was so that those who chose not to be vaccinated were viewed as a danger to the workforce and the public that they encountered. However, if the vaccinated can still get sick, then now everybody is still at danger. So everybody should either be required to test or nobody should be required to test. The question you guys need to start asking yourself is, when will this end? Is this a power grab on behalf of all of you that sit in these ivory towers? I have no doubt that somebody will catch you on camera later today celebrating your birthday in an unmasked environment around a bunch of unmasked people, just like it happened the last time you extended these orders. This stuff needs to stop now. So you guys are being put on notice now. The public of Los Angeles County is aware of what's going on, and they will begin to file lawsuits against all the power.
Thank you. Our next participant comes from the line of Cary Macionis. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today. Comment may begin.
Hello. Thank you for your time. I'm speaking on set matter number 2. I am a mom, and I am a clinical psychologist licensed in the state of California. As helpless as it sounds, I beg all of you women to drop the mask mandate at our children's school. I do feel helpless as a mom. My heart aches and my anger grows. As a psychologist, I feel afraid for our children's future. I'm not sure how much you know about neurobiology, specifically the brain's development for empathy. Masking our children is detrimental to the development of empathy for others. Motor neurons in the prefrontal cortex are responsible for an empathetic response. When our children don't see facial expressions, and I'm not just talking about smiles, I'm talking about sorrow, hurt, embarrassment, their motor neurons do not fire. In the Middle East, they force women to wear burqas to cover their face in order to stop the empathy towards them.
Yeah, our next participant is going to come from the line of Olga Nagel. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today, and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. I'm calling regarding 2 and regarding 18. Regarding 2, I think it's so wrong to have these children masked. I do not send, my daughter does not send my grandchildren to school for the same reason. I am so against it. It's inhumane, and it has to end. Also, on 18, as you know, over the past 2+ years, we have learned so much about COVID, and we are at a period where we should focus more on therapeutics and encouraging people to be more healthy instead of forcing these vaccines on people. Vaccines that we don't know what the long-term effect is going to be on the body. It is very wrong, and I think that for you all to be so giddy this morning dealing with these issues is just very disturbing. And I just want to say, the last thing is, only God can decide the fate of these hardworking people. We are not God. We are not. Even you, that you're in that high position and you feel that power, you're not. Thank you.
Our next participant will come from Vanessa. Our next participant comes from Vanessa and Anthony Estrada. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, I'm addressing item number 18. We strongly oppose the motion by Supervisor Sheila Kuehl to submit amendments to the civil service rules to discipline the county employees who would refuse to take the COVID shot. We strongly feel that the board should respect employees' personal freedoms and that any discipline measures against them would endanger public safety. We very much concur with what Sheriff Villanueva shared in his testimony. It is very concerning what is happening in the city of Los Angeles with safety and the county throughout LA County, and to further remove funds for funding officers would very much endanger our city, much more than it already is, and our county of Los Angeles. Please look at the Johns Hopkins report that came out speaking about the truth of the mandates, and please look at that in consideration before a decision is made. Thank you for hearing my comments.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant will be Genavive Claverel. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, good morning. This is Dr. Genevieve Claverel. I'm going to speak to item 2, 20, and 18. I am very concerned when a lot of the research coming out showing that lockdown is not effective or very little effective. When the state of California is going to release some of the masks, wearing on, why LA County decide to not follow even the state guidance? I am appalled. It's time we reopen. I mean, you cannot stay closed forever. And it's very evident right now that many people suffer because of that. This needs to change. You need to wake up and you need to make sure that people do not suffer anymore. The economy does not suffer anymore. It's time to go back to daily meetings. It's back to reopen. And please follow the guidance of science and not political desire. And happy birthday for you, Supervisor Kuehl. Anyway, I hope you have a good week. I hope that you start to do the right things, and I hope that you release some of those right-opinion measures. Bye.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant will be Tracy Holzer. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. Thank you, all of you, for the opportunity for all of us to be able to speak what so many of us have been frustrated. I'll be speaking on, commenting on item 2 and 18. I'm the mother of 4, grandmother of 7, and a small local business owner in the city of Santa Clarita. And number one, and first and foremost, is masking the children. And I'm just going to echo what everyone else has said. It needs to stop. This is a ridiculous thing that has happened. And I also wanted to echo what Sheriff Novella said. My son is also a fireman, and they face a lot worse danger than what this has all been. And as small business owners, shutting down the restaurants has done irreparable damage. And what it's doing now is making people that are reasonably thinking people extremely suspicious of our leaders. And, the Nuremberg Code, Nazi Germany was not so far away. And as the rhetoric keeps going, them and othering people, where you're getting people, if you're vaccinated or not vaccinated, families having fights over such a silly thing, it feels like there's a deeper, bigger agenda going on, and I feel that that's what these voices are all trying to tell you. We wonder how many of our politicians have sold out to the big industries and big pharma? We've given big pharma free license to experiment on the American people, and now they're going after our kids, and this is what you're hearing. You're hearing the anger and the frustration of people are going to draw the line at the children. And let me tell you, people that are vaccinated are drawing the line at the children. So please show some reason and this needs to stop. We're losing people out of California at a mass pace because they're not going to vaccinate their kids. I appreciate this opportunity, and I don't have any ill will to our leaders. I just question now the thoughts behind why they're making the decisions.
Expires. May I have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Lisa Ramirez. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. Thank you for taking my call. I am addressing a general public comment. I'm speaking against agenda number 18. And I wanted to let you know that as a person of color, I am skeptical of any medical procedure being forced upon me. If you take that and the risk of myocarditis with these vaccines, and you can understand our view against forced vaccinations. We have all prayed to God Almighty, and He stands with us, and we hope He enlightens the Board of Supervisors. I am a licensed, unvaxxed, registered nurse at a large healthcare facility in the county of Los Angeles. Several triple vax and at our large facility got and spread COVID to one another, all while taking care of patients. I hope you guys really take all of this into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker will come from the line of Jim Cunningham. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, supervisors. I'll be speaking on item number 18. I am attorney for the Los Angeles County Peace Officers Association, POPA. We represent over 6,000 of our county's bravest and most dedicated employees who 24 hours a day, 7 days a week are serving this great community, citizens of this great county. And we stand in strong opposition to any changes in the civil service rules, which are already extremely robust in terms of discipline and disciplinary appeals. Any changes that would have a direct impact on our employees. There has to be other tools and other available avenues to address concerns that the Board of Supervisors may have with the establishment or with the Sheriff's Department. But to punish the Sheriff's employees by a significant change in the charter, we would submit is not only potentially illegal and may run afoul of the state constitution and the Peace Officer Bill of Rights, but it'll also be incredibly disruptive to the very men and women that you're counting on a day in and day out. Overtime, loss of vacation, all of the impact that the employees have already suffered. There's no need to put that burden on their back.
If you have the next speaker, please.
Our next speaker will come from the line of Paul Strevono. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Thank you. Paul Scrivano. I will comment on 2 and 18 and general public comment. On 2, very simply, for her arrogance, overreach, and mishandling, Barbara Ferrer should be fired immediately. On 18, I say God bless Sheriff Villanueva. These men and women that are in fear of losing their jobs are the strongest and fittest people in our county. Vax or no vax, it's obvious that it does not matter that you'll catch or transmit COVID. It's a very weak strain right now. We currently live in a zoo without walls on the streets of Los Angeles. Flailing, convulsing, angry people roam the streets. My shopping centers have been broken into 10 times since August, and I've been assaulted multiple times trying to keep these people off of my shopping centers. This cannot go on. This crime wave is ridiculous. Firing these people, firing these deputies, defunding, as Sheila Kuehl continues to do. It's no shock that she brought this recommendation. On general public comment, for context as to why Sheila Kuehl loves crime, hates the sheriffs. In April of 2018, she came into the city of Calabasas and spent $3 million from her discretionary fund to put lighting on about a half a mile's worth of the most violent gang graffiti and tags underneath the 101 freeway. She stated in the Acorn, we kept the graffiti artwork in the tunnels because that's historic. The LA County Code 13.12.090 says the supervisors deem graffiti to be a nuisance subject to abatement because of its deleterious and detrimental effect on the county and leads to more violent crimes. Sheila Kuehl should step down immediately. We don't need to wait till November. I will run for supervisor in November, and I will change this county around.
Thank you. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next speaker will come from the line of Andre Zindeck. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, hi, good morning, supervisors, and happy birthday. My name is Andre Zindeck, and this is general public comment also. I'm calling representing all the homeowners up here at Fernand Falls. We've been landlocked here and trapped in our homes with no vehicular access since the last rainstorm washed out our only way in and out. And up to this point, it really hasn't been an issue, but now it's starting to be a crisis. Mom's already missed 2 doctor's appointments. Her has an eye infection. I've got no way to get her to the doctor. To get to my car, I have to walk a quarter mile down a hill, over a bridge, a creek, and up another hill, which is fine for me. I'm 65 and still relatively young, but Mom's 97. I can't put her on my back and do all this. Now, I'm not just here to complain. I have a solution. So there is another way out to the west. It goes over the HOA private streets, which we're not allowed to drive due to a 1999 agreement between the county and the homeowners on the HOA. The county can come in with your lawyers tomorrow, and we need this done now. We're in a crisis mode. We can't feed our animals. My mother can't get medical help. God forbid she dies because she can't get medical care. The county can bring a lawyer in and argue that's party. Emergency.
Our next speaker will come from the line of Kathy Ledgerwood. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, good morning. I'm speaking on agenda number 18 and general public comment. Good morning, Chair Mitchell and Board of Supervisors and Council member. This motion number 18 is complete overreach to our Sheriff's Department. We, the people, voted for our sheriff and his autonomy as director of his department. The Sheriff's Department has autonomy since he is elected by the people. Under the laws of the Constitution of the United States and under the California Constitution, the sheriff operates the Sheriff's Department. This motion attempted by the Board of Supervisors is illegal. In addition, I request you fully fund the sheriff's budget and remove the hiring freeze. And finally, our bodies are our own. Again, overreach. To fire county employees who have chosen not to comply with the vaccination violates our freedom within the Constitution and of our Bill of Rights. Many of these employees have had COVID and have natural immunity, which the CDC, as at this point, deemed 20 months of immunity. It's only 20 months because that's all the time that they have looked at it. And let me remind one final thing. The EUA authorization is not an FDA-approved vaccine. And so at this point, to require individuals to put a EUA vaccine into people is totally illegal and against our Bill of Rights. Thank you for your time and have a great day.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
One moment, please. Our next speaker will come from the line of Brenda Villanueva. Please state the regular agenda items you wish to address today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yeah, I'm going to address item 69A. First of all, good morning. My name is Brenda Villanueva, and I am a health policy advocate and community organizer at the Los Angeles LGBT Center. I'm extremely appreciative of the Board of Supervisors' support for the removal of the ban that prevents many gay and bisexual men from becoming blood donors. The ban is discriminatory and outdated, and all donors should be treated equally. As other countries are lifting bans, we believe the United States should follow suit. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please. Do we have the next speaker, please?
Yes, one moment, please. Our next speaker, one moment. Our next speaker will come from the line of Susanna Shield. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. Please begin.
Yes, hi there. 2 and 18, and yes, on general comment. We are our family's in complete support of Sheriff Villanueva and against any type of forced injections. I am also a proud immigrant to the United States, and I was surprised by the last words of our pledges of allegiance. But yes, I do hope our children receive justice today. And if not, we are pulling our children from the public school system. Please unmask our kids. Stop the 6 feet distancing and stop the testing today. These mandates are causing more harm regarding social emotional learning, mental wellness, and overall health of our children. As per OSHA, these surgical and N95 masks cause adverse health conditions and should not be used in everyday life, especially on our children. Please refer to OSHA and PubMed for many other studies and viruses that are not contained, and know that viruses are not contained by wearing masks. That means you would have to cover up your eyes, orifices of your ears, and of course the pores of your skin. You're taking advice from Barbara Ferreira, who is a psychologist and not a medical doctor. The Hippocratic Oath states do no harm. If Governor Newsom sends his children to maskless schools, maskless camps, maskless sports clubs, then it's good enough for us to unmask our children. Recently, Governor Newsom and Mary Garcetti attended a large gathering inside of fancy inside fancy skyboxes without masks and without 6 feet apart. Most of these tests are, quote, made in China, and we understand that this is a DNA data collection exercise. Why are we doing this? Why are you also taking money from the government to force all these mandates on our children? Why are our schools being paid off to enforce these unlawful mandates? These mandates need to stop for our children today. We are watching very closely on how you vote, and we will vote accordingly. God bless you, and do the right thing.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant will be Berton Brank. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, I'll be addressing agenda item number 2 and number 18. My name is Commissioner Berton Brank. I am a retired sergeant from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department, and I am also running for state assembly in the special election on February 15th. I'm against masking our children. It is time to let our children breathe and have an opportunity to learn properly. We have shown that the masks are also affecting people's immune systems. The children are having to have a proper immune system, need to breathe properly and breathe in the elements to help get their immune system going. So this is really bad, and it's time to address this and stop the mask mandates for our children. In regards to item number 18, I am against firing our Los Angeles County employees who fail to get the vaccine. We just lost a member who received the vaccine, the second dose, and was hospitalized shortly thereafter, and he passed away this morning. He was an active member of the Sheriff's Department. Many members have the opportunity to get the vaccine or the shot on their own. They don't need to have a vaccine mandate brought onto them by the County Board of Supervisors, nor should there be a mandatory vaccine for them to do so. People have that opportunity already to have a vaccine if they choose to do so through their doctors, and it should be between their doctors and them. Forcing out these members of our Sheriff's Department and public employees for Los Angeles County that have been working through this pandemic day in and day out without a vaccine, got sick. I know many of my friends who have been sick through the pandemic, and some are vaccinated and some are not. We have shown that the vaccine does not stop the COVID, and therefore it should not be a mandatory take the shot or lose your job. It costs millions of dollars to put our people through the police academy.
Your time has expired. May I have the next speaker, please?
Next speaker will come from the line of Mathews Boyz. Please state the regular agenda items you'll be addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Thank you for the time. Item 2, general public comment. For 2 years, we've witnessed this board and the health department make decisions for us as parents. And our children that did not align with qualified health experts and the CDC. We've had 2 child suicides amidst COVID distance learning pressures in our community, your community, Supervisor Hahn. Our children are in crisis. Supervisor Mitchell, you criticize your peer Supervisor Barger. It is you who needs to hear criticism, and we're going to do that today. You hosted the governor last Monday in a press conference to blatantly lie about following your rules. Why are the same public health violation fines enforced on businesses in your district not being levied on SoFi Stadium, the governor, and the LA mayor? Supervisor Barger should be applauded. In closing, this week you all in the public health department will not be able to effectively enforce your draconian mandates while 100,000 people attend the Super Bowl in Inglewood. The day after the Super Bowl, our children, my children, will go back to being distanced and masked for over 7 hours a day. Children are being forced to wear masks when they run, play sports, outdoors. They're being made to believe that people can get sick and die from their simple act of breathing. We're not going to let you ignore us anymore. We will not let you harm our children any longer. Align with the state or resign. Thank you.
Next speaker, please.
Next speaker will come from the line of Ashley Presley. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. I'm calling to address item number 18. I am in complete opposition of this and mortified that it's even being considered. As an LA County deputy, my husband has showed up to serve this county during the entire COVID period. I'm a federal employee and recall working from home, as I'm sure many of you board members were as well, and I can tell you're still remotely working, during the 2020 riots and watching in horror on TV with my 3 kids while my husband's on the front line. And to think these are the men and women that you guys are considering firing is very disappointing. Now that it has been proven that you can test positive and transmit while vaccinated, there is zero logical argument for firing employees who choose not to be vaccinated. In fact, I would argue that some of the unvaccinated employees that test negative weekly are safer to be around than the vaccinated ones. Let's not make this county more unsafe than it already is. We value our safety and our deputies and do not want to lose these valuable men and women just because of an illogical mandate. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker will come from the line of Stephanie Luna. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. I'll be addressing agenda item 18 in general public comment. It's not surprising how Alex Villanueva is calling in to ensure that his murderous deputies do not get relieved of duty for their non-compliance with the county's COVID-19 policy, and talking about public safety as if the department isn't responsible for the brutalization of our communities. The Sheriff's Department has consistently broken the law and gotten away with it because they are taught to act as if they are above the law. It is imperative that the board takes a stand against the corruption and misconduct that surrounds the Sheriff's Department and put this charter amendment on the ballot. Because while some of you think that we have time to sit and wait for the sheriff election to come around, we don't. These elections come around every 2 years, and by then we have a rogue, unhinged sheriff similar to the one we do now, and any other sheriff that is to come. How many more lives do these deputies have to take for you to realize that we're running out of time? This is a human rights crisis that has been brought upon us by the Sheriff's Department. Law enforcement can be trusted to police themselves. You hear of deputies getting charged with perjury, but what are their consequences? You hear of deputies murdering our children, but what are their consequences? You've heard of deputies harassing grieving families, and even some of you that are sitting on the board today, but what are their consequences? There are none, because they hide behind their deputy laws, ALAs, and are protected by Villanueva. This charter amendment has everything to do with us being capable of protecting our family and community from the abuse this department is capable of continuing to inflict on us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker will come from the line of Cary Macionis. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, it's on item 18 and a general comment, and happy birthday to Supervisor Kuehl. Thank you for your years of service. Please keep our officers, our deputies, emergency personnel regardless of vaccine status. So it's a drastic measure to take their jobs away. It puts our communities in danger and overstresses the employees. Isn't there some kind of compromise, education, COVID vaccine education, or testing? We're already doing testing. Some compromise, because these people were the people who showed up in March of 2020, April of 2020, when it was really dangerous, when we really didn't know what was going on. And I understand things change, but we went from 2 weeks to slow the spread to now we're going to let go of thousands of our good employees. So I'm asking, I'm begging you to save our communities, not do this to our officers. And a general comment, thank you to Sheriff Villanueva for being the voice of reason and for standing up for your deputies and for the community.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker will come from line of April Drody. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes. I'm speaking on Sub Matters 2 and general public comment. Greetings, Los Angeles Board of Supervisors and all present. I am April Drody. I've been a part of this community for 18 years, and I'm raising my 13-year-old daughter here who attends LAUSD school. I want to first address Supervisor Barger. Supervisor Barger, if we had a city full of officials with your level of integrity, sensibilities, sincerity, and gall, I believe there would be no need for this meeting. Since this COVID-19 regime was executed in our city, I've watched you boldly go against the grain and take many, many stands against our governor, our teachers union, our mayor, and many others while your constituents left you standing there as they towed the crooked line. I hope they don't do that today. Supervisors, I don't claim to know the full scope of your respective jurisdictions, nor what you do or do not have the power to change, but you do know. You'll have to forgive me. I haven't been in politics very long. I didn't get into politics until politicians and leaders in this city became my child's direct perpetrators. There is no legal, scientific, or medical basis for this mask requirement. You are suffocating our children literally, as well as mentally and spiritually. As elected officials, we are asking you to demand that all schools stop testing, injecting, quarantining, and masking children that have a 99.98% chance of recovery should they legitimately contract COVID-19 or any other variant. If you truly are looking for something to focus on regarding the health and safety of our children, we don't need any more food. We can feed our own children. We don't need food banks. We don't need grab-and-goes. We need to work, and we need our kids to go to school. We ask that you look at LAUSD's admitted dramatic increase in rates of depression, anxiety, suicide, along with the effects of constantly telling our children they are a literal death threat to themselves and others and muzzling their breath and speech to that end. Please look around. There is more of a chance and threat of our children getting ill from being harmed from tracking in human feces and urine that they step in and around our city, or being shot, stabbed, raped, or robbed on our streets than there is of COVID, which is another reason to stop harassing our police and firemen and women along with our children. Thank you for your time. Have a blessed day.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next participant comes from the line of Madison Lee. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Madison Lee. I'll be speaking on item number 18. I've lived in the 5th District for 26 years, which has a 43% higher crime rate than other cities and towns of its size. It has a higher crime rate than the national median, and with violent crime extremely high and continuing to climb, the Board of Supervisors is focused on taking deputies and firefighters off the street and firing them. The vaccine doesn't prevent the spread of COVID, and the personnel have been complying with mask mandates and reporting measures. The employees have also been testing, and this will greatly impact communities, especially those in low-income areas. The Board of Supervisors are not living in low-income areas, so this does not affect them. This is a huge safety risk, and we're rolling the dice on our children's safety. Please vote to oppose this. Lastly, happy birthday, Sheila. I can't wait to see your mask with photos later. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Next speaker will come from the line of Ashley Gardino. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, good morning, Board. Thank you for hearing me. I will be addressing line item number 2 and number 18. Yes, public. First, I would like to thank Sheriff Villanueva. You are a trailblazer and a leader, and I thank you for what you do. Also, Catherine Barter, thank you so much for what you do. I have met you in person at events, and I have always thought that you speak sense in a world of crazy. My children are 9 and 11. They go to public school in Santa Clarita Valley and have always loved school, always loved going, have always been excited to learn and be there, and they have not lately. For the first time, my son is in 6th grade. For the first time, I got a call from school, from the vice principal. He wasn't in a lot of trouble, but he's bored, and he can't concentrate, and they can't focus, and these masks are terrible. It is not okay. I come from a family with first responders, a long line of first responders. They were expected to go out there, do their job, and be in what we consider harm's way with COVID. And they went. They did their jobs. They risked their lives. They did everything they needed to do, and to now force this upon them is horrific and wrong. My son, I'm not anti-vax. I'm not anti-anything. I am protect my children. My son did have an adverse reaction to a vaccine when he was younger, and now I can't get him an exemption because doctors won't give it anymore because they are afraid to lose their license. This is terrible and wrong, and I work in real estate in Santa Clarita Valley, and I can tell you right now, the people that we want, the people that contribute to society.
Your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Next participant will come from the line of Carla Howe. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning. My name is Carla Howe, and I am the Chief Executive Administrator with the Child Care and Development Division with the California Department of Social Services. I am calling in support of item number 10. Before joining the Department of Social Services, I was an attorney with a community-based nonprofit law firm. And to provide you a better picture of the type of obstacles that child care providers face as they try to open new programs, let me share a client story. Sharon is a savvy child care provider who decided to open a second child care facility. And then looking for space and location, it became a part-time job. Sharon found a great location at a local park, but the local jurisdiction was unwilling and unable to make property changes to comply with community care licensing. Other locations were identified by Sharon, but in order to look at those locations, she had to ask herself a question and apply for a conditional use permit. The conditional use permit basically asks the question, can I open a child care center at this location? Sharon discovered that answering this question can cost up to $10,000. Luckily, she applied and got a yes, this location will allow you to run a child care program. However, there were certain conditions in order to.
Do we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant will come from the line of Jason. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, my name is Jason Carpenter. I am calling regarding agenda item number 2 and item number 18. Can you hear me?
Yes, please begin.
Okay, thank you. Regarding number 2, I have a student who is 16 years old in LA Unified. Calling regarding the masks. I guess the latest face ornament which doesn't work would be the N95 masks, which I have in my hand right now, a box that I was given here at my county job, and it does say right on the side that the respirator helps protect against certain contaminants, but it may not eliminate the risk of contracting disease or infection. So I'm wondering why kids are being forced to wear something that the box alone says it doesn't work, as well as if the vaccines and the masks work, then after 2 years, why aren't they working? Regarding number 18, as an employee who is now under this mandate, I'm unvaccinated, and it's odd to hear that the county's considering whether to let go many of us employees, because I haven't even had my religious exemption that I filed responded to yet. So that's kind of odd. My personal freedoms are being violated. Conscientiously objecting is being violated. And I've already had COVID in October of last year, so I have natural immunity. And an Israeli study found that 6.7 times greater protection is given than the vaccine, which is actually not a vaccine. It's a gene therapy, and it's not even, as others have said, FDA approved. And I also would like to say thank you to Sheriff Villanueva for the hard work that he's doing. And as far as to anyone else who may be listening and those who may be calling soon, there's no need to thank these paid politicians, career politicians, for listening to us. They are our workers. We employ them. I have nothing left to say. Sheila Kuehl, you're a disgrace. And may you have a horrible birthday.
Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Mark Donier. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, my name is Mark Donier. I'm calling in on for general comment about the youth from the BJ facilities for it to be closed down and the youth be transported to Kilpatrick. At the end of the day, cells are cells. And if we continue to look at the youth as farm animals that basically are used for job security, then that's something that we all need to come to terms with. The rehabilitation centers need to be properly developed in order for them to become mature individuals, so that way they can incorporate themselves into society and feed positive vibes for everyone that exists within our wonderful world. Thank you, and that's all for me.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Severna Mystery. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address the general public comment. You may begin.
I'm speaking on agenda item 218 and general public comment. Our children have not had a normal school year since 2019. For 2 years, I and several parents have written to this board begging for relief for our children. For 2 years, you have put the union and special interests ahead of our children. Experts around the world and our own U.S. Surgeon General have sounded the alarm of the mental health crisis in our children, to the pandemic school closures and the continued restrictions. Our children are in crisis, and you continue to ignore it. Not a single message has come from LA County Public Health addressing the social, emotional, and mental harm these restrictions are doing to our children. This is an epic failure by this board and by public health. Our children were locked out of their schools and sports for over a year. Now the school doors have opened. Our children are distanced from friends, masked for 7+ hours a day with no parties, no field trips, no fun. Children are being forced to wear masks outside in this heat to exercise, run, and play sports. Children are made to believe that people will get sick by their very simple act of breathing. None of these restrictions are enforced on adults. We've all seen the Super Bowl. We've all seen the stadiums and concerts halls full, jam-packed of adults without masks. This needs to end. We are taking a stand. We are taking control back. This board has utterly failed children in the past. I hate to bring this up, but let me remind you what you have done to children that have been abused, and you have failed them. This needs to end. As for item number 18, essential workers have been working this entire pandemic. Firing unvaccinated workers serves absolutely no purpose for public health other than coercing vaccines. Everybody has already spoken about you can still catch and transmit the disease or COVID-19 even if you're fully vaccinated. Everyone should be entitled to their own personal health choices. You are running LA County into the sewer. You need to end all these restrictions. You need to restore freedom to the people of LA County. I live in LA County. I live in a fire hazard. I don't give a crap whether the fireman that comes to my house to extinguish the flames at my backyard is vaccinated or not.
I don't care if I call a police officer to come help me as I'm being murdered in the street if he's vaccinated or not. You need to stop this discrimination, and we need to restore faith and confidence in our public officials and our public health department. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Manor X. Please state the regular agenda items you are addressing today and whether you'll address some general public comment. You may begin.
What's up? Good morning, everybody. Just general public comment. I'm here to speak on the 15 youth that are on the secure track that are currently still in Nidorf. You know, back in July 2021, they passed a motion to move them to Kilpatrick, but yet 7 months later, they're still there. The BSCC on September 2019 found the facilities unsuitable for anybody to live there, let alone a kid. So yeah, I'm here to say Northern Nidorf move these kids to Kilpatrick, and also the BOC, the commissioners went and they went and inspected and tried to talk to the youth in the compound, and they said that every time there's a fight, they're locked down for a week, regardless if you were involved or not involved in the fight, and only 40 minutes to shower. If we were to do this to our kids out here in the community, with no doubt you guys would take them away from us. So, but yet, you guys are here doing the same thing. So please, stop all that shit and just move them.
Excuse me, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Richard O'Neill. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address some general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, my name is Richard O'Neill, speaking on the agenda item number 18. I oppose it, as it is an infringement of our U.S. and California constitutional rights to provide for the common defense. Thousands of officers will be terminated, negatively affecting public safety. For those terminated officers, it is a 14th Amendment violation, as it does not provide equal protections under the law for those unvaccinated. California Constitution, Article 1, Section 28, subsection 4 would be infringed, as it would violate our voting rights, and that we empowered the sheriff with our collective votes, and disempowering him is silencing the voice of those people of LA County who elected him. If the people do not like his leadership, then they can speak in the upcoming election. It has been proven that vaccinated people can still contract and spread pathogens. So terminating unvaccinated officers is not protecting others. Furthermore, there are other measures to protect the public which are also effective, such as weekly testing, which is currently practiced.
Excuse me, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Waldo Gonzales. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. One moment, Mr. Gonzales. You may begin.
Good morning, Board of Supervisors. My name is Waldo Gonzales, and I'm representing Inner City Struggle, a community organization based in the east side of Los Angeles. I am speaking in support of item number 9. I see us through some of the highest need and most vulnerable communities in Los Angeles County. As such, the communities that we serve bear a higher burden when resources for mental health and affordable housing are lacking. The now 2-year COVID-19 crisis has exposed just how vulnerable our communities are to the pre-existing inequities and how those have become exacerbated during this time. Therefore, we urge the board to adopt this motion to allow us to realize the reuse of the iconic and historic General Hospital building and West Campus. This will bring a regional solution to the affordable housing, community health and wellness needs, job creation, and address the impacts of the COVID-19 pandemic. As a member of the House Innovation Community Partnership and the Community Engagement Steering Committee for the General Hospital Reuse Feasibility Study, we are excited about having supported the construction of a new child care center and ensuring that this project benefits local residents by incorporating an aspirational goal of 50% targeted worker and local hire. We applaud Supervisor Solis for your dedication and commitment to having an active engagement of the community in realizing the Healthy Village vision at the LA County USC campus. We stand ready to work with the County Board of Supervisors on this historic project. Thank you.
Excuse me, your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Jackline McCluskey. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address some general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, Jackline McCluskey. I'm addressing item 10 and public comment.
I really want to thank Supervisor Solis and actually the whole Board of Supervisors for your continuing support of the early childhood education system in LA County. This motion is designed to help local Los Angeles County early education providers compete successfully for state infrastructure grant program dollars. There I would say, three important components of the motion. One will help our LA County providers who are interested in developing new child care facilities navigate the complex landscape of land use and permitting processes in LA. My colleague Carla Howe laid out some of those in her description earlier. It also directs collaboration between regional planning and our key early childhood education offices, including the Office for the Advancement of Early Childhood Education and the Policy Roundtable for Child Care and Development. I'm a member of the Policy Roundtable. We are very, very excited about the opportunity for continuing collaboration with regional planning. But the motion goes further than just that and also supports development of a comprehensive support system for providers, including some of our key friends outside of county government from First 5 LA, the Child Care Alliance, and the Partnership for Early Childhood Investment. We're so delighted to see the state release dollars for facility development. These are very precious resources, and to have the opportunity to compete for them is a very exciting and important moment. In my experience, however, I've seen that sometimes it's very difficult for LA proposers to compete successfully in such state processes, and that's for two reasons. One is because our own county processes can be complicated and complex, and certainly in land use and permitting, they are complicated and complex.
Our next participant is Jessica Peral. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address some general public comment. You may begin. Jessica Peral, your line is open. Go ahead, please.
Hello, this is Jessica Peral from the Los Angeles LGBT Center. I want to thank the Board of Supervisors for moving to support an end to this discriminatory and outdated ban that prevents gay and bisexual men from donating blood. This ban was imposed in an era when HIV was poorly understood, when no reliable and practical tests for detecting HIV in the blood existed, and it has still persisted for decades, even as blood screening technology has improved dramatically. Today, every unit of donated blood is rigorously tested to detect any trace of HIV, syphilis, hepatitis, West Nile virus, or other bloodborne diseases. And for this reason, the American Medical Association has called for the ban to end. And I strongly urge the Board of Supervisors to move ahead with their message to the Food and Drug Administration in support of ending the ban. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Zoe Rawson. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address some general public comment. You may begin.
Good morning, Zoe Rawson from Arts for Healing and Justice Network and LA Youth Uprising. I'll speak to general public comment and also the item on the sheriff, which I don't know the number of. So I'm a person who's been harmed by probation and the sheriff's facilities. I'm somebody who is committed to trauma-informed practice, to my own healing and the healing of other people. I care for people who are being harmed in these facilities. When I enter them, I can feel, because I'm so focused on trauma and healing, I can feel that there's no compassion and no respect and no dignity. And when I push back to achieve that for myself and the people I love inside of these barbaric places, I'm treated the same way. So I wonder where that harm is in this conversation. NIDARC needs to shut down. It's harmful and abusive. It's not trauma-informed. I was recently banned from visiting a loved one in Men's Central Jail for a month, and I was not explained that there was a written policy for that. I was not explained who instituted that ban. I was not explained how to appeal that ban. And in the meantime, the person imprisoned goes without. It's a young person because we lock up young people in our adult jails. And that person has suffered mental health crisis while there. And now I'm banned from seeing him. And it's because the sheriffs are abusing their power and treating others without compassion. And I'm really upset about it. And because I'm a person that's committed to healing, I work on my own trauma.
Your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Eric Previn. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address the general public comment. We begin.
Yes, thank you. I intend to address several items and a general public comment as well. May I begin?
Please begin. You have 3 minutes.
Okay. Thank you. I wanted to say, first of all, that this is a very, very dense agenda, and I've been trying to follow along. And also I wanted to say that last month marked the 175th anniversary of the Treaty of Cahuenga, which was signed right here in near Studio City in Council District 2 or 4, I believe now in Barker's district, I'm not sure. Maybe Sheila's district. It used to be Sheila's district. It's where Universal Studios is, FYI, where one of the lawyers who's investigating the MRT thing works. It's actually his wife. But look, this is a historic pact that was signed right there at the Cahuenga area, the Mexican-American War, and it made L.A. It was the first time that L.A. became an American city. It was a magnificent or magnanimous treaty made in the spirit of mutual respect with the expectation that people of different cultures would live side by side in peace. It guaranteed protections of life and liberty to the Californios, as they were called, and further provided that equal rights and privileges are vouchsafed, sort of quoting here, to every citizen of California, as are enjoyed by the citizens of the United States. So I was reflecting on that. But what these actions have in common is the fundamental principle upon which the Treaty of Cahuenga was based, which is that despite the differences in our background, our ethnicity, and our material wealth, all of us, human beings, are entitled to respect and dignity and peace. And now more than ever, as our nation can seem so divided and so torn by outrage and anger, we need to realize that our future rises or falls for all of us together. But this board, unfortunately, under Holly Mitchell, who I actually tried to help get elected because I was so disgusted by Herb Wesson, her opponent's conduct. Incidentally, Covington Burling, the firm you've hired, was Herb Wesson's lawyer when the federal probe swung through City Hall. So I really think they have to be reconsidered. They can't be the right firm for the public. It's Joe Biden, who I voted for's campaign attorneys who write big multi-million-dollar, $6 million report for an Oregon hospital to cover up sexual harassment. And they bring in at $2,500 an hour Eric Holder, who, when I told my mom, she said, "I love Eric Holder. How dare you?" And I said, "Mom, it's not about that. We don't need an investigation into our partners by our partners. That doesn't make any sense. We want the FBI should..."
May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Sonia Fuentes. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address some general public comment. You may begin.
Hello, good morning. Sorry about that. Could you hear me? Hello?
We can hear you. Please begin.
Okay. This is Sonia Fuentes. I'm a psychiatric social worker with the Department of Mental Health. I work for the mental evaluation team. I have firsthand knowledge on, or kind of by saying thank you to Captain Barter for standing up and for standing up to unmask our children. I have 3 children in LA County, and my daughters who do music and gymnastics are masked 50 hours a week. And that's just not acceptable. I don't think that the board members or Barbara Ferreira have any idea of the mental health impact of these masks on children, as well as the vaccine mandate. My daughter plays the tenor saxophone, and she is required to get tested weekly, even though she is vaccinated. I just don't understand why the facts related to mental health on children are not communicated. Barbara Ferreira just states the same facts over and over again. She does not provide any statistics on children, and the fact that children that get COVID have mild symptoms. My family, the adults are all vaccinated, got COVID in December, and my 10-year-old was crying because she was afraid that she infected somebody.
Your time has expired. May we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Mr. Lee. Your line's on that. Next participant is Mr. Our next participant is Robert Field. Robert Field, please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and whether you'll address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, thank you. I'm speaking today against the passage of Agenda 18. The proposal in this motion to terminate the employment of 18,000 county employees, 4,000 of which are sheriff deputies, and may include the religious and medical exemptions, is reckless. This proposal violates numerous labor laws and privacy laws, potentially exposing the county to hundreds of millions of dollars in damages in employee lawsuits. That is our money, the taxpayers' money of Los Angeles County. I urge you to vote against this reckless motion, Agenda 18. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Gloria Prieto. Please state the regular agenda items we're addressing today and we'll deal with on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, thank you. I'm addressing Agenda 18, in which I strongly object to. To fire 18,000 county employees is atrocious. These are the same people that we called heroes just a short time ago, and have been able to perform their job with or without the vaccine. It doesn't make any sense. You're criminalizing the people who have chosen to not be vaccinated and to exercise their right to free choice. We know now through new studies that have all come out that the mRNA vaccine does not work. Needless to say that it is still an EUA and not FDA approved. So today, I speak to you, and I am in strong opposition to Agenda 18. And I hope that you make the right decision and vote against it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next participant is Ashley Racy. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today and we will address on general public comment. You may begin.
Yes, hi, can you hear me? Yes, hi, can you hear me? Yes, we can. Please begin. Hello, I am calling to oppose number 18. I first want to say, as a resident of LA County, it's not new news that this county is lacking full resources to provide adequate public safety. Crime has drastically increased the last few years, especially with the horrible DA Garcon. The thought of possibly losing 4,000 LASD members sickens me, let alone the entire 18,000. Most members have natural immunity. The vaccine is not an end-all. It does not stop or prevent spread. Sheriff Villanueva, thank you for taking a stand for choice and doing what you were voted in to do. No one should have to face losing their job, feeding their family over a health decision. A mandate is force. Force is not choice. Stop the mandate. Stop the vaccine mandates and the testing. I know for a fact when someone is in need of requiring emergency services or health care, no one is going to stop someone in a life-threatening circumstance and ask for proof of vaccination. If you feel that way, you should not be serving our community. Please take a job transfer to China and work with that communism. Number 2, I am also opposed to these mask mandates. Barger, how was that awesome football game? The time has expired.
Our next participant is Clint Milby. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today, and will you address in general public comment? You may begin.
Yes, my name is Clint Milby. I'm in District number 5. I'm speaking on number 2 and number 18. First of all, on number 2, recently, I'm sure you are aware, the UK dropped all of their mandates. And on a UK television show, they were interviewing a woman, a young lady. She was about 13. I guess she was 15 now. She's 13 when all of this started. And she started talking about how, that they were constantly feeling like they were doing something wrong as students, and then, but they definitely wanted to talk to each other. So they went into, janitor's closets to talk, and she was telling us, all of the story, and then she just broke down crying and said that, 2 years of her life were gone. And you could sense the pain, and you could sense the loss, and you could, if you could see with the eyes, understanding, you could sense that she's going to have PTSD for many years to come. And I really want you to think about the visuals on that. Secondly, on number 18, and I also want to do general comments, sorry. On number 18, I recently spoke with an emergency worker who told me when I was like, you guys get all kinds of vaccines and stuff like that, hepatitis A, B, C, all of these things every year just to be able to have your job. What was it about this one in particular? Was there something that you were seeing? And he said yes. He said that, when we roll out to do welfare checks because they haven't heard from Uncle Joe or something like this, what they were seeing were heart attacks and strokes. That the common denominator in about 90% of them was that the person had been vaccinated within 3 months of having that event, with having a stroke. And that's the reason why these emergency workers do not want to get this. It's not any type of phobia or they're anti-vax or something like that, but they've seen the effects of what this mRNA gene therapy is doing to people, and they know that even if they lose their job.
Can we have the next speaker, please?
Our next participant is Lisa Lee. Lisa Lee, please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today, and whether you'll address some general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please begin.
Thank you. I'm addressing item 18, and this is for public comment. I am perplexed that the vaccine mandate is even on the table for debate with everybody, and especially our LAPD. As a young single woman living in Central Hollywood with my Citizens app notifications going off and choppers flying over my house, the last thing that me and my friends want is our LAPD to be fired. It's not a good idea. The crime is rampant in LA, and we all know that the vaccines don't actually prevent the spread, so it's a complete fallacy. And if you decide to vote that they should have the mandate, you guys should be held responsible for all the crime that is about to ensue in this city. Thank you.
Our next participant is Nicole Goodfellow. Please state the regular agenda items you're addressing today, and we'll be addressing general public comment. You may begin.
Hi, I'm addressing set matter 2, opposing item 18 and general comment. I'm a parent and LA County 5th District resident. During the pandemic, all I have seen are people trying to do the right thing, wearing masks, getting vaccinated, complying in hopes we can get out of this. We are rule followers here, yet none of these measures have actually worked except to destroy lives. You may dream of zero COVID, but it's not realistic. The state is ending the indoor mask mandate on February 15th, but LA County is not. We cannot continue with the draconian mandates, restrictions, and metrics that are impossible to achieve. Public health has changed directions so many times. You are no longer have credibility. We need to align with the state on these matters. Our children have not had a normal school year since 2018-2019 came to an end. 2019-2020 was abruptly halted on March 13th, 2020, when we learned in-person education is not essential. Faces are not essential. Smiles are not essential. Human connections are not essential. All that is essential are the demands of organized labor and the government attempts to do something, anything, regardless if it helps or harms. I oppose item 18. Many who have chosen to remain unvaccinated are essential workers and first responders that were already exposed on the job. Natural immunity does actually exist per the CDC. While you sat home on laptops at peak COVID and pre-vaccine, millions of Angelinos went to work and hoped for the best. We call them heroes. Their reward now to lose their jobs if they don't take a vaccine that many don't want or need. It's disgraceful to even consider firing county workers and first responders over a vaccine mandate. It's time to move to a vaccine and mask optional situation for students, workers, and all Angelinos. We cannot allow you to continue to take the path of least resistance with mandates on our children because of unscientific demands of labor unions. When the state and local restrictions end, the union and school district restrictions on our kids must end too. The majority of Americans are living in a mask and vaccine optional environment and doing just fine. We deserve the same freedom of choice in Los Angeles County. Thank you.
And thank you to each and every member of the general public who took your time today to call in and express your perspective. We appreciate you. With 90 minutes having lapsed, our time for public speakers has ended. Again, thank you to all who called in. If you were unable to provide your comments orally, you may submit written comments as indicated on the agenda. We will continue to accept all written comments that come in during the meeting, which will become part of the public record. Executive Officer, please indicate the agenda item numbers on which we will be voting today.
The following items are before you: 3, 6 through 8, 11, 12 through 16 as revised, 19 through 21, 23 through 30, 32 through 36, 38 through 42, 44 through 57, 59 through 68, 69A and 69B, 72 and 73, 1D, 2D, and I am going to read a statement. 1D is a recommendation to adopt resolution authorizing the issuance, sale, and delivery of the Vermont Manchester notes in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $46,338,493 for a 118-unit affordable housing project and the Vermont Manchester Senior Project Notes in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $26,094,717 for a 62-unit affordable housing project, both located in the city of Los Angeles. 3D through 7D are before you.
Thank you. Moved by Supervisor Barber, seconded by Supervisor Hahn to approve these items with the exceptions noted by the Executive Officer. Executive Officer, please call the roll.
Supervisor Solis,